With us now is my new friend, Keith Baltimore. We met at the IDS Swatched event. Welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. How are you?
I so loved meeting you that night. What a fun event that they put on.
It really was.
So the IDS is the Interior Design Society here in Long Island, and they did something for charity where they raised a lot of money. And you had a check presented to you, and who was your charity of?
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay. And why do you feel like business and philanthropy should match together?
Well, it's all giving back. I think what, I live in a world where there's almost a make-believe that we do these fantastic things for fantastic people. But giving back to the kids is important.
Makes a difference for you.
Makes a difference.
So you're an interior designer, but you're so much more. So how did you decide that that's what you wanted to do? Like, were you like hanging out in your room one day and you got tired of how it looked and you started like moving all the furniture around?
Well, if you ask my parents, they were like, uh-oh, something's wrong. I used to rearrange furniture constantly. At 8, 9, 10, I would get involved in like how things worked and what fit where and how electric worked and how air conditioning worked and how plumbing worked. When we got to plumbing, my parents like, I think you have to stop now. So yeah, I was born to do what I do. My parents had to turn the lights on every time they came home because they didn't know where anything was going to be.
Really?
So I was really involved in the built environment. Yeah.
Okay. So aesthetically, things just needed to be a certain way for you.
Well, it was like a laboratory. Growing up, our small little apartment in New York was a laboratory to see how I could suspend things from ceilings or how the physical environment, how I could make it work or look bad or good or whatever.
Now, you told me that you also have 2 siblings.
I do have an older brother and a younger brother.
Okay. So when it came time to like put toys away or things like that, were you the person that was always trying to like, oh no, the football goes here? Like, would you get like razzed if they put something out of place? And...
Absolutely. Okay. I was a very organized child. Okay. I mean, I don't know if I was, everything had a place and I felt like it needed to be there. So I was the cleanup committee.
Do you find that that's one of the best values, though, that you bring now to your clients, is that you can help them live a more, let's say, productive or more zenful type of experience by helping bring organization to their chaos?
It's interesting. It depends on the client. I mean, I think there are clients who like to be disorganized and work very well in that. I have to embrace what they're all about and kind of figure out if there's chaos in their disorganization. I mean, if there's organization in their disorganization.
Oh, okay. Now I would be someone like that.
Right.
Because there are rooms in my house, like everything else is immaculate, but right now my studio is disorganized chaos. No, it's organized chaos.
Right.
I know where everything is.
It's like the junk drawer.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody has to have a junk drawer. Okay. And that junk drawer has a lot of junk in it that we don't know really, we should really be cleaning it out or figuring out what's in there. But I think it's a mental stability to say that I have something that's disarrayed, that everything doesn't actually have to be in order. And I think there's a cathartic moment when you clean out that drawer and go, I don't need this.
I don't need any of it.
Right, I don't need any of it.
Like my laundry room right now. I'm like, all right, well, that's all clean but not folded yet. You know what I mean? It's like it's a little chaotic.
Give away. I don't know. It's
exactly.
like throw it out.
Right. Things I haven't worn in a year, but you still wash them anyway because you want to wash them before you give them away.
Exactly. You can't give away dirty clothing.
No, of course not. So now, where you are in your life is that you have, it's called the Baltimore Design Group, but you also have a Baltimore Design Center.
That's correct.
Okay. Tell us about your center. What happens there?
Well,
your space?
It's a 8,000 square foot showroom in Port Washington, where we have furniture and fabric and carpet and lighting and all accessories, furniture, accessories, gifts, that kind of thing. But in the lower level is our design studio, and that's where the design group is.
And when you finish a project, what do you find most satisfying about that?
I think the most satisfying thing about a project to me is that my client always, I think it's 99.9%, they say, my home is so me, or my office is so me, or every single thing was thought about, and there was a reason why we picked that, or we moved that, or we designed it that way, and it should be for a function, and when it works like clockwork, it's amazing.
Now, without giving away any of your trade secrets, what are some of, what's the process for you? So when you would meet somebody, what do you, sometimes people say, oh, well, bring me your favorite colors or your favorite items in your house, and we'll work around that. What's your process? How do you like to get to know somebody?
Well, that's really the process. The process is really kind of getting into their heads and understanding what they want or what they think that they want or possibly don't want or don't need, and then kind of filtering that out. I think it has a lot to do with communication and conversation, and kind of getting into someone's head and saying, well, let's talk about that. Why do you feel that you really don't want anything blue in the house? Or why do you feel like you hate plaid? And then they might just hate plaid. It might just be, that might be the decision-making process, but the idea of figuring out why and how. And then I love when a client says to me, I hate that, or I don't, it's not for me, because that triggers another whole round of discovery moments that I can get into their heads and figure it out. So I think it's more the dialogue that works the best.
Like an aversion to broccoli.
Exactly.
Sometimes somebody just doesn't want to eat broccoli.
Green,
yes,
right.
I just don't
I have
do green.
clients that don't do green. I promise you, no green in the house, except money, I guess.
The green of money. So the process is they come to you, they find you.
Yes.
You're very accessible, right?
Absolutely.
People need to make an appointment. Sometimes it might take a little while to get an appointment with you.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, but that's okay, because good things are worth waiting for,
Exactly.
right? Okay. So the process is they find you, they discover you, they make an appointment. Will you go to their location sometimes? Do you?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Oh, sure. And
take photos, take measurements.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The process is we get to know each other first, see if there's a connection and a click, and then at which point we go through the process. It's a measure, it's a visual, it's first presentation, it's beautiful drawings and renderings and kind of getting the vibe of where they're going. And then we present to them, and then they say, oh, it's so me and fantastic, sign here and let's go. And that's the way it works.
Do you have also clients that take baby steps, like maybe 1 year they're going to do the living room, but it's like a 5-year plan?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look, we work as fast or as slow as the client needs to go, because sometimes it's financial, or sometimes it's a mental thing. Like you can't come in and disrupt my whole house. I have to move into the guest bedroom, and So there's people go either really very quick, or they move out and we just completely renovate the house, or we take baby steps.
And what are you best at? Like, why should I hire you? What do you feel like you deliver better than anybody else?
I think the idea of understanding every style, like I like everything as long as it's well done. I'm okay with really traditional or really contemporary or the mix thereof or whatever happens. I also think I'm a really good editor. I think the idea that you, like Coco Chanel would say, just when you leave the house, take one accessory off. The idea of making a focus and figuring out what's really important in the interior is important.
To make it feel
like, that
feeling.
zhuzh finished look, that like, oh, it's so me and it's so the
Yes.
client. I think it's to understand people is probably the hardest part about being an interior designer.
And what are some of the best spaces that you've designed? Your own personal favorites. You don't have to name names. I
think I did a project in the Caribbean in Turks and Caicos, which was really it was great when it was done. During the process, everybody thought my life was so glamorous that I was in Turks and Caicos, but I was carrying sofas on my back, not so much fun. But while everybody was at the beach, but I think the best thing I've ever done was the thing I just finished.
Okay.
I think it's like
as it should be, don't you think?
Yeah, I think I'm so involved in the process, and that it's so important to kind of understand. I'm immersed right now in the best thing I've ever done. So I'm a little zen like that. Like if I'm going to do the best thing, it's the thing I just finished.
Got it. So if you're going to do it, you're going to make it the best that you've ever done.
That I possibly could do.
Now, see, I would hire you for that. I would, because you're passionate, right? So you're passionate. You listen to your clients. You're not. It's not like you're taking, oh, well, this is my aesthetic, and you're taking like one room and you're making every single living room look the same.
Well, that would be so narcissistic to enforce, right? To be like, you have to live in my interior. This is like what I'm making you do. I think that's not what an interior designer is supposed to do.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of interior designers have a look. I mean, and they all have all their projects seem to feel like that. And I think that's one of the interesting parts about my career, is that I don't have a distinct Keith Baltimore look, because it's so personalized for each client that it's, when they go to my website and they're like, well, there's so many
Yeah.
different variations here on, and I think that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I think that's the most important.
Got it. And one of the things that you liked is you were talking to me about like the organicness of it, or the, talk to me about that, your passion for those types of things.
Well, I think we have to be responsible. I think that we have to be, we have to use sustainable things if we possibly can. We have to be true to the planet. And the idea of understanding, to do something for no reason and waste a natural resource is foolish. Recycling and reclaiming and stuff is such a nice thing to do. And for the organicness of the house comes from the family or the person that you're doing it for, is finding what's natural to them and kind of letting that immerse into the interior.
Beautiful. And walk me through your home. I'm walking in the door, and what do I see? I'm in the land of Keith Baltimore.
Okay, that's a very interesting thing. Designing for yourself is as an interior designer, it's very difficult because you're exposed to so many things, and you have, but to be true to yourself is very difficult because, my home is all black and white.
Okay.
There is no.
Like Desi and Lucy.
It's
right?
It's almost like walking into it. It's very curated.
Okay.
I have a lot of things. People think that I live in a very clean, contemporary interior. I collect a lot of things. I collect antique baccarat boxes, and I have a lot of antiques, but in a very clean, white environment.
Beautiful. In fact, you did share that story with me because I did ask you when we were working on the IDS event, what was the one thing that you take from home to home to home to home with you? And you shared the story with me that your parents, growing up, didn't have a lot of money, but they had this very special box.
This very special baccarat antique box, which is probably, if they said, what would be the one thing you'd run out during the fire, I would definitely grab that box. And just because I think it's special to me, but I would hope it's special to my brothers and anybody else who felt that it was a family heirloom.
Well, it sounds beautiful. You're a wonderful person, beautiful on the inside and the outside, and I just so enjoyed meeting you, and thank you for coming here.
It's a pleasure knowing you.
Yes, and I'm excited because now my audience gets to know you, and I'm sure the phone will start ringing, and they're like, got to work with Keith. So thank you so much.
Sweet. Great to be here.
Stay tuned for more. We hope that you like this little visit with Keith Baltimore, and stay tuned. There's always more on Live It Up.